Welcome back to another week of This Week in SEC Football with the Coach's Box, Call It Like We See It podcast. We've got a rather light week in scheduling for the SEC with only 6 games this week, all conference games, but 4 of them include ranked teams. 3 of them include 2 ranked teams. So let's go through our slate of games to start with. First off, we're going to talk about probably the game that not many people are going to wonder about, not many people are going to care about, and that's at the 6:45 p.m. time slot game between Auburn and Kentucky. The only ones wanting to watch this game are fans of Auburn and Kentucky. Both teams are reeling. Both teams are on losing streaks. Which one's going to come out the winner here in this one? Auburn played fairly well last week for 3 quarters against Missouri, played an awful fourth quarter against an inspired Missouri team when their starting quarterback came back from the hospital. And Kentucky, again, loses bad to a Florida team, to a not a very good Florida team at that rate. So the game's in Kentucky. It's in Lexington. Who's going to win this game? Does it really matter? I don't know. I think Kentucky ends up pulling this one out to the end. Auburn is just snake-bitten this year. I think 3 losses in fourth quarter games. Kentucky finds a way to win this one at home. I'm going to go with Kentucky. They're currently only just a 2.5 point favorite. They probably they'll cover that spread. It'll be a field goal win by Kentucky. But crazier things have happened in the SEC all year. But I'm going to go with Kentucky in this one. Our next game is going to be Arkansas and Mississippi State. Arkansas is pretty good this year at times, but offensively they haven't been very good. They're 61st in the nation in scoring, but they don't score as many points on the road as they do at home, so they're not nearly as good there. So when they go to Starkville, they're going to have to find their A game in order to kind of find a way to get a win here against a hungry Mississippi State team who really also hasn't been very good as well at times. So I think Mississippi State's going to be looking for to try to get a win here against a better than last year Arkansas team, but they're going to have to do it offensively because Mississippi State's defense is just god awful, allowing over 33 points a game. It's just they can't stop anybody. And Arkansas's quarterback, Green, and their running backs tend to have a field day against teams that just can't stop the run. And this is what Mississippi State is. They just don't stop the run. So I look for Arkansas to win this one in Starkville by more than probably 2 touchdowns, I would say. This is going to be a big win for Arkansas. And I look for the Razorbacks to get that win. Next up is going to be Ole Miss and Oklahoma. This one is in Oxford, Mississippi. Oklahoma reeling off a very bad loss in South Carolina. They've got to find a right this ship against a really good Ole Miss team. I don't know what's going on in Norman. They lose Gabriel to Oregon before the year starts, so they think they're going to be fine with Jackson Arnold, but he hasn't been very good. They went to the freshman. He was pulled rather quickly, and they're back to Jackson Arnold, and they're just not playing very well. So they're 107th in the FBS in offensively in points, averaging just about 20 points a game, and they're 42nd giving up in the country defensively, giving up about 20 points a game. So I don't know if they do enough offensively to beat this high-powered Ohio State, this Ole Miss team. I don't know what I was thinking there, Jim Powers on the brain. But they don't have enough offensive firepower to overtake this Ole Miss team. I look for Ole Miss to run roughshod at this one behind Jackson Dart in the year he's having. So with Henry Parrish probably gaining about 90 yards a game. That's what he's averaging. So he'll get his average. They have a receiving core that's averaging a ton. I think one receiver's already over 1,000 yards for the season. So I look for Ole Miss to win this one big. They are currently a 20-point favorite over Oklahoma. I think it's probably going to be about a 20-point game. It's probably going to be a 30-10 game, something like that. Look for number 18 Ole Miss to get the win big over a reeling Oklahoma team. Next up is we're going to cover a very interesting game, Texas A&M versus LSU. This one is going to be played in College Station. It's the 6:30 game on ABC, so it's going to be a primetime game in Texas A&M, and it's pretty much a push. Texas A&M, the line has been moving around. It's now, last check, it's about 2.5 points. Texas A&M is the favorite at home. I look for Kyle Field to kind of be that 12th man, like they say they are, for them against LSU. But Texas A&M probably is going to win this game because of that factor, because of that Kyle Field factor that they have. Their quarterback has looked really good the last few weeks after coming back against Missouri. And LSU, like I've said the last few weeks, they don't pass the eye test for me when I watch them. They have a lot of athletes. They can be explosive. I'm not a Garrett Nussmeier fan as a quarterback. You can call it what it is, but I just think that he's got, I don't know what it is. I can't call it. I can't pull for it. I still think Oklahoma State gets this win, and it's going to be very close. It's probably going to be who has the ball last. And if Texas, I'm sorry, I said something wrong there. I think it's Texas A&M gets the win here, and I think it's near last possession, and it's going to be a very close game. But I see Texas A&M pulling out this win. Here's now for our hometown Tigers, my Missouri Tigers, after coming off an inspiring win over Auburn on their homecoming match, they now go to Tuscaloosa to play an Alabama team that looks to kind of get back on its feet. So going to Bryant-Denny Stadium is going to be a tough matchup for any team, especially for this Tigers team who, after injury reports came out today, the SEC injury reports, quarterback Brady Cook is doubtful, although I expect him to play. I don't know what to expect out of some of those, but I would like to see him play because I don't think Missouri's got a shot in any type of situation if he doesn't play. The quarterback depth is just not very good at Missouri behind him, and that was evident against Auburn last weekend. So I look for Alabama, who has been a very good offensive unit with Jaden Milroe, going against a very good defensive unit in Missouri, Missouri's ranked 44th in the country. Or I'm sorry, Missouri is ranked 10th in the country, allowing just 15 points a game. And Alabama is a top 25, ranked 19th in the country at 38 points a game. So those two units going against each other is going to be the matchup to see. But with Milroe generating close to 330 yards of offense during the year with his feet, he's throwing for 1,700 yards. So he's compiled over 2,000 yards of offense this year. Against a Missouri team defense that is really good, but will be missing a couple of key D linemen that are out for the year, and then also the possibility of their quarterback not playing. My heart tells me to pull for Missouri, but this will be a tough one. Alabama will probably, I don't want to say it, but Alabama should get this win if Brady Cook doesn't play. If Brady Cook plays, this is a different story. And I think Mizzou has a really good chance at winning. So let's caveat on this one. If Brady Cook plays, I pick Missouri. If Brady Cook does not play, I pick Alabama. And our last game of the slate is two ranked teams. Who thought I would say this at all when I'm saying this? It's Texas going to a ranked Vanderbilt team. Who they're only ranked 25th, but Vanderbilt's really good. They're 5-2 on the year. They've won 2 straight games. And this will be a little bit of a different game for Vanderbilt to have to play, because now they're going to be playing a very angry Texas team that kind of got their butts handed to them against Georgia last week. So Quinn Ewers has been very good at quarterback. They've got a running back, Wisner, who has picked up over 300 yards on the year. They've got a couple of receivers that have done it, picked up a bunch of yards as well. So offensively, Texas is very, very good. Vanderbilt also quarterback-wise has been very good. Not quite as good quarterback-wise as what Texas has been, but Pavia has thrown for 1,300 yards. He's also ran for almost 500 yards. So Texas's offense is ranked far higher than Vanderbilt's is on per game. So Vanderbilt is only averaging about 360 yards a game. Texas is well over 400. Their defense is giving up over 300 yards a game. Texas is much, much, much better defense, ranked 4th in the country, giving up less than 250 yards a game. Their Vanderbilt's only given up 2 turnovers. Texas has given up 12. Vanderbilt has only taken away eight turnovers, and Texas has over 15 turnovers. So the defense of Texas is the key here, and I think that they do more than enough to handle that Vanderbilt offense on the road against a very angry one. But Texas by 2.5 touchdowns here, by 18.5 points. I'm picking Texas. And actually, I think it's going to be a very angry Texas team that wins big by 25 to 30 points. So there are my picks. I'm going with Ole Miss over Oklahoma. I'm going with Arkansas over Mississippi State. I'm going with a caveat here with a Brady Cook-led Missouri wins. If he doesn't play, Alabama wins. Texas wins big over Vanderbilt. Texas A&M wins in a very close one, probably a last possession game over LSU in Kyle Field in College Station. And I'm picking Kentucky over Vanderbilt. So those are our SEC picks and previews for the week. I hope you enjoyed this. Again, if you don't subscribe to the Coach's Box, please do so. We are on Facebook, YouTube, the X, Twitch, all the places that you can find us. Look us up there. We'll see you next week.